Hey everyone, welcome back to Operation Victory, the channel dedicated to helping you create a compelling life you actually want to live and giving you the tools and tactics to help you actually achieve that desired result. So, this week I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that's been coming up, just as kind of a theme. I don't know if it's because of the wintertime or what, but that's the subject of loss and grief and how to cope. All right. It seems like in the last couple of weeks, I've just had a lot of people come up to me and talk about different scenarios that they've had to endure and that they're still kind of dealing with. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to open the conversation for everybody, right? And so I want to say to you guys, firstly, if you're here watching this video, you're not here by mistake. And I'm glad that you are here, and I hope that there are some takeaways from this today that can maybe just give you a little bit of insight into yourself and your thinking processes, and maybe help take the edge off of that. So I guess where to begin? Begin at the beginning. So let's start talking just a little bit about like the 5 stages of grief, all right? And that is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance, right? And a lot of people think that this is a linear thing, that each one hits in each step. And truth be told, that's not the case. Anybody who's experienced grief or loss of any type knows that it's kind of just an emotional cyclical roller coaster. And some days, you're on top of the world. And other days, you come careening down to earth like an asteroid taking out the dinosaurs. It's just kind of, it's the natural ebb and flow. And there's, within those, you're going to have those times where you're really angry, at God or the situation that happened, or, you're in denial that it even did happen, or maybe you're bargaining, like if I do this, if I go to church every Sunday, I know you'll heal them and bring them back, or whatever that might look like. Right. And then there comes that place of acceptance down the road. And on that note, for finding acceptance, there is no specified timeline, right? There is no, well, I've grieved for a year, so that means I must be over it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes you're just not going to be okay with the situation, and that's okay as well. So know that it's okay to cry. You don't have to be stoic. You don't have to like stuff your feelings down. All right, I've done that in my own experience with loss. I knew for a long time, I was like, listen, I can't cry for the loss of my friends right now, or the loss of my family right now. Like, I just have to keep marching on. I can fight. I can do this. I got to be strong for these other people. When really what they might have needed in that moment was not just my strength, but also my vulnerability, and showing them that it was okay to experience emotions, and that it was okay to give myself permission to experience those emotions. There came a point where I had stuffed things down for so long that finally I knew I had to have a breaking point, because I was watching everything literally just collapse around me. And I didn't know how, and I couldn't, because I had repressed that in myself for so long. So it's okay in this situation, right? You went through something profound. It was a big part of your life. And it doesn't necessarily have to just be a loss of a loved one, or a loss of a friend, right? Dealing with grief comes in so many forms. Maybe you experienced a bankruptcy, or you went through a divorce, or you went through a breakup, or you lost your job, or maybe a pet that you'd raised since 8 weeks old that used to be able to fit in the palm of your hand, right? Maybe that was you experiencing that loss, and just trying to put that into some type of context, right? Like, what is this? How does this work for me? What does it all mean? The bigger things, like we all tend to go through these existential crises as, these losses happen, because they're those things that just shake us to our absolute foundation, to our core. Like I can tell you, I have had no shortage of loss in my life, from both of my parents before I went to war, to going to war, which is a traumatic experience in and of itself, to losing friends while I was there, to dealing with divorce, dealing with another deployment, losing a lot more friends, coming home, losing friends to suicide, losing family members to neurological diseases, and having to be there for the family in those last moments, which I'm very honored that I had that opportunity. So I've been around this kind of stuff for a long time. I've also been through breakups. I've been through bankruptcy. I've lost literally everything that I've had, to the point where I was almost homeless. So, like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and there are lessons to be learned from it. It definitely is. It's a crucible from which we learn. And on the other side, it's going to make us better people. So what can I say on that note? In the Marine Corps, we talk about how we deal with an ambush, right? And that's what we do is we assault through the ambush. So my takeaway in my own life has been during these times, and even in the darkest times, the dark night of the soul, the hard times, everything, to turn and face it. And there have definitely been times where it's been, soul crushing and difficult, but I've come out the other end of it more aware of who I am and a better person and more empathetic and able to actually contribute, right? That's part of the why that I am a coach, is because of these experiences that I've been through. So take that into context, right? It might be hard, but by ignoring it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your family a disservice, right? Because you can't show up. Yeah, it's going to be messy. It's going to be ugly. You're going to have that nasty crying face. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, sometimes crying is just not a good look, but it's absolutely necessary. So if you feel like repressing it or pushing it aside for another time is going to be the best option for you, I can 100% guarantee that it is not. That's not to say that dealing with it is going to be easy. And being gentle with yourself in these situations and not judging yourself too hard or being a perfectionist can be very difficult as well. But be gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself. Allow yourself to grieve. So, there's a lot of different things there. So some of the tools, right? Like, we know we're coming around the holidays, and this is a very difficult time for a lot of people. And if you are dealing with grief, loss, any of that, right? You're feeling depressed. This is not the time to isolate. This is not the time to say I'm strong. This is not the time to not be around a support system. Reach out and call somebody. Please. If you guys don't have anybody to talk to, hit me up in the comments. Find me on my Instagram. Slide into my DMs, right? It's just Richard Back 8. You can find me on Facebook, pretty much the same thing. You can look me up by Richard Back. Look, I've been through this for too many seasons now, and I know what it's like when you're feeling just lost and overwhelmed and like there isn't a purpose. I can tell you very much that there is a purpose. And you have a purpose and you have a message that the world needs to know about. This pain, while profound and deep, is just one more scar, and our scars do not define us. It's just part of that story that helps to make us who we are. So please, if you're feeling lonely, isolated, if you're having, thoughts of suicide, whatever, please hit me up. Like, I do not care like what time. I will answer. And if you're a veteran, I know, dealt with a lot of veterans, like, and you're in my San Diego area or not, like, we have a whole chain of people to help, and we get you plugged in with the right people, because this is not the time of year where we need to lose anybody else. And no time of year is a time when we need to lose anybody else to something that we can overcome. So I want you to know, because I've been through it, I am here next to you. I am that arm around your shoulder, sitting in the trenches next to you. I can't fight it for you. I can't grieve for you, but I can be empathetic with you, and I can share in that burden to help you get to that next step. So Like I said, guys, this is just a little short video. If this had an impact on you, please feel free to comment down in the comments below. Also, somewhere in this video, there's going to be that like and subscribe. If you feel like this is value to you, please like and subscribe my channel. Let me know other topics that you guys would like me to discuss. I would love to hear your feedback. Help me help you grow this channel so that I can be the best value for you guys. And as we're coming up on Christmas, Merry Christmas to the guys, who are Jewish. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Yuletide. Whatever you prescribe, do, right? It's all from a place of love. And I am so happy again that you guys are my audience and that I get a chance to interact with you guys. So thank you again. Happy holidays.